Hey guys, welcome to Dem Guys podcast. If you switch around the letters, it spells Gum Step Cod Days.
What?
Wow.
He always keeps these things in his back pocket. He doesn't ever tell us about it until he records it, and it's just pure gold.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I know. Leave a comment if you can figure out another way to switch around Dem Guys podcast.
Oh man, Anariston, or however you pronounce it, he will be all over that if he listens, because from the very first UHC that I played before I actually joined the VBFS, he started like anagramming Matt AK/ every single time that I logged on. He would come up with some new arrangement of letters to greet me by.
Do you remember any of them? I can't.
I don't there were some. I think one time he just alphabetized them. So it was like, or something like that. But, no, I can't remember off the top of my head. But they were always more or less pronounceable.
What did you just say? Gum Step? What the heck was
Gum
that?
Step Cod something.
Gum Step Cod Days.
Gum Step Cod Days,
Gum
of course.
Step Cod Days.
I spent
That's
about
a great band.
I spent about 10 minutes on that.
Very nice. Very nice.
Perfect. It's most efficient use of time ever.
Well, I was watching a YouTube video while I did it, so.
And now that all of our content is gone, the podcast is over. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
For another episode of Gum Step Cod Days. Alright. Introductions. As always, I am Drew.
I am Slash.
And I'm SnoShoe.
Woohoo!
Yay.
SnoShoe in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm in Chicago today. I am AFK.
Yes.
I guess. Kind
Ish.
of. I'm AF my normal K.
AF home.
Yes, AFH.
And if Snow disappears at any point during the podcast, it's because he was killed by a tornado.
Yes, there are possibly tornadoes somewhere around me right now, and I'm in a foreign land and don't know exactly where everything is, so...
It is entirely likely, or it is not likely, but it's entirely possible that SnoShoe, if he does disappear, maybe isn't killed by the tornado, but is simply whisked off to the land of Oz.
Yeah, or maybe I could end up in some awesome place like Toronto or something. Toronto's not that far away, is it? I don't know. I have no idea where Toronto's at.
That'd be a bit far to be flung.
Would it be the Toronto tornado?
Exactly, that's why I
Wow.
said Toronto, I think. I think it was a Freudian type deal. Toronto tornado. What if? But the thing is that Chicago had the big fire, right? So
Yeah.
what if they had another fire during the tornado and it became a fire tornado?
That would be insane. That'd be like an anime style, like superpower move.
I think
at
that's
that
like the
point.
scariest natural disaster you could possibly have.
Yeah.
Other than a Sharknado.
Oh my
That
gosh,
is not.
Sharknado.
That's an unnatural disaster.
Yeah.
That's some scientific creation.
Okay, so if you guys want to email us questions for the podcast, 'cause we do like to answer questions, you can send your questions to demguyspodcast@gmail.com.
DMGUISPODCAST@gmail.com.
Nice.
Am I supposed to do it before you say @gmail.com?
That has been the trend, but
Oh, dang it.
there is no written procedure. Let's switch it up a little bit. Drew was talking about before we started recording that we always start with Drew for things. So SnoShoe, what have you been playing lately?
Gosh, that's a lot of pressure to put on me because I always go last. Well, guys, I haven't been playing too much recently. I've been, as you may or may not know, the NBA playoffs are going on, and I'm a big NBA fan for the main reason that I have season tickets to the Oklahoma City Thunder games, so I have a lot invested in this. And I've been watching a lot of basketball, and it's been amazing. It's been amazing so far, but we won't get into that on this podcast because that's not the point of this podcast, right?
The
So
point of this podcast is whatever we feel like talking about.
you guys don't want to hear about the NBA playoffs, I understand. So we'll talk about what I have been playing this week, which is
Very good.
Minecraft. I mentioned to you guys that I started my own kind of just Minecraft for fun world, and guys, it's amazing. I haven't played Minecraft I haven't started a new world since, I guess, whatever version our server's on, 1.7.2, isn't it? Whatever
Yeah.
we started.
Yeah.
Well, the map with the map that we're on was generated the bulk of it in
That'd be
1.6. So
1.6. 1.6 was horses, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right whenever the horses happened. Yeah, but if you haven't started a new world completely with the new terrain engine, it's amazing. It's like there's forest stuff everywhere. Everything looks really cool. There's lava falls and waterfalls. It looks so much better than the server terrain engine we have right now.
Yeah, this is true. I actually had fired up a a 1.7 world to try to just sample some biomes out of it, basically, for the biome project that I'm doing. I think I spawned in an Extreme Hills, and I was like, this is much cooler than the Extreme Hills used to be.
Yeah, and the fact that you don't go like straight from taiga to desert and stuff like that anymore is really cool. It's like, it feels a lot more natural. But yeah, I spawned right in the middle of like a forest, Extreme Hills type area right on the ocean line. It's really, really cool. So I've been thinking that whenever, I haven't been making any videos recently for a lot of different reasons, but whenever I do get back into my normal routine, I've been thinking about starting a new single player series just because I don't think the server's going to reset anytime soon, and I really want to show everybody the new terrain generation. But I just found the very first stronghold I've ever found by myself, and it's crazy. It's like a stronghold connected to a ravine on top of underneath a mine shaft. What are those things called? The abandoned mine shaft. Yeah. All like in one place, and it's a huge stronghold. It's crazy. I've never explored them by myself.
That's pretty awesome.
Rediscovering the game all over again. That's really cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
But anyway, so that may be something I start on my channel eventually. TM, soon TM. And then I've also started, which is of interest to Drew because apparently it's one of his top 3 favorite games ever, is Mirror's Edge. I started just playing that one for fun also. I'm not able to record just because I've got I think the main reason is because my cat's freaking out recently, and it's like the weather change. I think she just wants to go outside all the time, so she sleeps, and then when she hears me talk, it's like the meow train just happens, and it doesn't stop. It's a long train, and you have to sit there and just wait it out.
It's like 105 cars.
Exactly, and you count every single one of them. But yeah, whenever I do start recording again, which is going to be a lot easier this summer for a fact, I think I'm going to, I don't know if I'm going to do Mirror's Edge, but definitely the Minecraft series. Anyway, Mirror's Edge, I've gotten through the first 2 levels we've figured out, and that game's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie.
I enjoyed. I played the demo back when it first came out.
I didn't know you did.
And yeah, I mean, it's a sort of game that for me is very visually appealing, but it wasn't the sort of game that really hooked me enough to play it. So it's a sort of game that I would watch a Let's Play of, but wouldn't necessarily pick up for myself.
Right, and I'm kind of interested. Like I said, I'm only a couple of missions or whatever you call them, chapters in. But I'm really interested to see where the story kind of goes, because right now the story portion hasn't really hooked me in. I'm really interested in the parkour type running, jumping, and everything. And the combat's it's really simple, but it's kind of cool. So I'm kind of interested in that part, but the story seems a little flat right now. So yeah. Does it get any better?
Mirror's Edge is not a game that I play for the story. I will definitely put it that way. It is, I love the gameplay and it's really good visually. I personally, after my first playthrough, I skip all the cutscenes and everything. Like I really, the story's not that great.
Yeah, the cutscenes are kind of blah.
Well, yeah, especially those weird art.
The weird style anime, not anime, but it's kind of weird, almost cell shading type thing. Yeah, so, but does it get repetitive? Is the only thing, because it seems like so far everything has kind of been the same. Yeah,
I don't feel like. I mean, I've played through the game. I don't even know how many times, and I still love going back through it and trying to beat my previous times and finding new paths through the environment and stuff.
Okay, so maybe I need to do some more of that too. Well, but it hasn't seemed like it's introduced very many new mechanics, at least in the first couple chapters. So I'll be interested to see where it goes from there.
Well, I have an interesting challenge for you.
Oh gosh.
Would you want to, once you beat the game and you've unlocked the time trials?
Okay.
Would you want to actually race each other and try and beat each other's times and like record that?
You mean would I like to actually beat you at something? Very much so. After you have never lost an Abba caving, I would just like to stand on top of your head as you sink into the ground on Mirror's Edge.
And yeah, just because Mirror's Edge is my favorite game doesn't mean I'm like the best person in the world at it. Like
I can't say I'm that great at it so far. Like I feel like I'll be doing really, really well. You know, if you guys don't know anything about it, it's a parkour-based game with a very different type art style. It's got the cutscene style, which is not related to the game at all, which is the weird part. But it's kind of a 3D environment with everything's white, and if it's not, then it's a bright, vibrant color.
Each area or like each chapter you'll see kind of has its own color theme, So there will be one that it's white and orange. There's one that's white and yellow, white and blue, white and green. You'll see they do that.
Right. Yeah, but it's, I mean, like Slash said, it's visually really appealing. And that's kind of part of the beauty of the game is as you're going, the point is to get somewhere really, really fast by doing all these crazy parkour moves. But you just kind of look around and it looks really, really cool. It's kind of got a Minecraft type awesome looking environment appeal. Anyway. Yeah. But I'll definitely take you up on that challenge and I will kill you.
Okay. I know I would win if we did the story missions because that's what I know really well, and so I know the best paths through there and stuff.
Oh no, we have to do something that's a fair slate.
Yeah,
clean slate. Fair slate.
I think the time trials could be pretty fun.
Clean slate?
Clean slate or a fair game.
Comparison.
I don't even know, man.
Yeah.
The Chicago air, like I said. It's
equal footing.
Keep in mind. Yeah, equal footing, there you go.
Alright.
That's all I've been playing, guys. That's about it.
I shed a single tear for you.
I've been playing a lot of Minecraft, though. Like I said, that my world has kept me busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, shockingly, I have not played the most games this week.
No.
I have 3 games this week. I beat Assassin's Creed 4.
Scale of 1 to 10.
Compared to all video games or in the Assassin's Creed series?
Well, okay. First do the Assassin's Creed series, then any video game.
Okay, it's my favorite of the Assassin's Creed games.
Okay, I really liked Assassin's Creed 2. We've talked about this multiple times.
Yeah, that was my favorite, and it's still really high on the list, but Assassin's Creed 4 is just amazing.
Okay, I'm gonna have to play it then.
Yeah, you really should. And then overall, in like all video games, I forget, somewhere I came up with a list of my top 20 favorite video games, and that will be changing as time goes on and stuff. I'm pretty sure Assassin's Creed 2 was on there, if I remember correctly, so Assassin's Creed 4, definitely in my top 20.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Alright.
I started playing Fable Anniversary.
Is that the one is that different? What's Fable Anniversary? I have no idea.
So, I got the lost chapters from you for the computer.
Right.
And I had some issues playing on the computer with it. Anniversary is exactly the same as Lost Chapters, except they remade it in HD for the Xbox 360.
Ew.
So the graphics look somewhat better.
So it's like I bought it for you.
Yeah.
Except not failed.
But it's the same exact game, it's just they put HD textures over top of it.
Oh, that would actually be pretty cool, I think. I mean, as somebody who's played the first Fable, I really like whenever they do that. Like, didn't they do that with Kingdom Hearts, I think?
I don't know.
Kingdom Hearts.
They did Kingdom Hearts HD.
They did like HD Remix or whatever was a thing that they did. In Final Fantasy X and X-2, they recently did a remastered version of that in HD.
See, what you have to do is you have to go back and play like the original version right before you play the HD version, and then you can really appreciate it. Because I played the, what was it? I can't remember. It may have been Kingdom Hearts, where I watched the Kingdom Hearts remake, and I was like, well, what the heck? This isn't that exciting. And then I went back and looked at the old one, and I was like, oh my god. How did I play this game? This looked awful.
Yeah, well, this actually wasn't the first Microsoft game that they did this with. They first did Halo Anniversary, the original Halo, and what was really cool about that one was they actually had a feature where you could press a button and the screen would go black for a second, and then it would switch between the old and the new graphics, so you could compare it right then and there in game.
That's interesting. I mean, it's cool. It kind of validates why they made it, why they probably spent money on it. But it's kind of a weird feature to have in the game.
It's a feature everybody uses once.
Yeah, I know. It's like, do you want to see these crappy graphics? Yeah, sure.
You know what's really fun, actually, is if you're playing split screen, messing up your teammate because the whole screen goes black when you press that button.
Oh, what?
So like someone's trying to snipe, and then you just like press the back button.
That's a design flaw.
Yeah. And then finally, I started playing Left 4 Dead 2. Nothing much to say about it. Just, I figured I'd mention it since it's a new game that I hadn't been playing before. And I'm playing that with my brother-in-law. Always looking for new co-op games. And this is really outside of my normal genre range. I mean, it's a first-person shooter, but I don't play zombie games. Like, that's just not something I do. But this is really entertaining, so.
I will say I'm kind of getting tired of the zombie theme in The Last of Us, but I'm pushing through it. I will continue that and everything. But for whatever reason, the zombie theme gets tired with me really quick.
Yeah, I watched Good play through Last of Us.
Uh-huh.
After watching that, I was totally satisfied. It was a really good story,
yeah.
But I feel like that's not a game I would ever really get into playing. Like,
see, that's the only drawback for me, is that I don't like having that oh crap feeling when something's coming after me every single time I play the game. Like maybe every once in a while, but those stupid clickers, man. And I'm still not to the point where I need to get one more upgrade to where I can finally dominate them, but that just drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that genre of game either, but as with so many things, I love watching other people play it, because then I don't have to jump.
Alright, so those are my games for the past 2 weeks. So no Minecraft and no Smite.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's why you didn't have as many games.
Yeah.
As the most amount of games. Definitely obvious. That's why the number of games was not as high, because you didn't have two. Thank you, SnoShoe. You big idiot.
That was amazing. That's why we have you on here. So
yeah, I count things for you guys.
Your expert analytical ability.
Yes, I just made an Excel spreadsheet for you. I'll put it in the Skype chat.
Well, I mean, with that display of sheer brilliance,
mathematical acrobatics,
I can more confidently say that you're not the person behind the signs that I've been getting around my face.
I've convinced you finally.
It requires a little bit more brain power than you seem to be exhibiting lately. But yeah, the signs thing seems to have reached a close, or perhaps an intermission. Basically, just to sum it up real quick, one day I come out of my house on the Vintage B fan server, and there's this sign that's set up, and I start reading it thinking it's a typical message, and it doesn't make any sense. No matter, I try reading it left to right, I try reading up and down, figuring out a way to go through the signs that would actually make a message, and no way did. It was all sort of scrambled up. And next to the sign, it was a sign made out of spruce wood, and next to the sign, there was a block of cobble. And so I was like, okay, and I clean it up, and I don't really think anything more of it. And then the next time I log on, somebody has recreated the wooden sign, and then next to it, where the cobble block was, created another sign with a stone theme to it, right? And that sign doesn't make any sense, but the two signs together sort of start making sense. And then finally, after I clean that up, and that when I cleaned that one up, the stone sign actually had a TNT trap underneath it, which was amusing. Because they had it all in obsidian, so it didn't do any damage or anything, but it was like a little, like, whoop! You hear that hiss, and you gotta back up. And,
How much, hang on, I'm trying to think about who did this. How much obsidian did it take?
Well, let's see, to encase the TNT, they would have used 26 blocks of obsidian, because they had 9 on top, 9 on the bottom, and then 8 around it. So
that's a fair amount. That's a lot to go through for a small little prank.
Yeah.
So maybe it's somebody who's played a lot. I don't know.
It's
someone with a diamond pick. That narrows it down.
Yes. All right.
And then finally, after I tore those down, then another day, 3 signs popped up. And across from those signs were 3 more stumps for signs. And I was like, oh gosh, what's going on? Well, with these 3 signs, I was able to descramble the message more or less. I didn't apparently have the sentences in the right order, but I had the overall content was there, and it was themed on Majora's Mask, which is a Legend of Zelda game for the N64. It was built on the same engine they used for Ocarina of Time. And the plot of that game involves Link goes to sort of this parallel, world with this town that this gigantic moon is descending upon it, bringing Armageddon, and it's got a face on it, and it's acting like it's going to eat, the whole town and eat the planet or whatever. And it all turns out to be that it's being driven by this Majora who is, imprisoned in this mask. And so it was very much themed on that. And so after I posted a video showing how I had descrambled the message, then the next time I log into the server, these signs come back up with like an answer key at the bottom showing what the intended order was. And on the back of one of the signs it says, you got very close, looking forward to next time, or something like that. And since then, there hasn't been any further activity. So I was expecting it to all be a prelude to some sort of prank. I was half expecting to see like a big Majora's, like moon, with just a face
eating
built,
your base or something.
Yeah, built over my base or something. But so far nothing there. But the person has also not revealed their identity, and I feel that more obviously is to come from them.
Right. The prank isn't going to be done until you figure out who it is.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I don't know. There's a number of different people that it could be, and I kind of feel like it's probably someone who records on the server, which does narrow it down quite a bit. But it could potentially be someone else that, I could see it being, in terms of, with the people that regularly LP on there, right? There's the three of us.
Right.
And there's Caleb, who was busy with school until just recently. So and he says he didn't do it, and I kind of am inclined to agree that or inclined to believe him. I don't think it was him. Nihon is a possibility, and I could see him doing something, fairly. Although he has claimed that he's not involved either, but I could see him being, setting something up like this as sort of a long played out revenge for encasing his entire base in a big block of ice. And let's see, who else regularly LPs on there? There's Munchmo is a possibility, and because he hasn't had a VBFS out in a while, so that could be one reason for it. I don't know.
You can't rule out Fu Mandunian either. He's not an LP here, but he has.
Yeah, and recently. Fu is actually a direction that I am leaning right now. But I keep changing my mind. Yeah. I keep changing my mind. Every time I think about it a little bit more, I'm like, maybe I'll go this direction.
Or it could be Volretho.
It could be Vol. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Vol on very much, but there are certain times that I get on the server, and, people that, are on the server can probably pick up on what my usual availability to get on is, so, and work around that.
I have a possible theory.
What's that?
It could be Simrold, and since, it's a Legend of Zelda themed pranked, maybe it's, her trying to get back at you for stealing her skin.
For stealing your skin, yeah. Oh, yeah, just to set the record straight. It was pure coincidence that I have the same, more or less the same skin as Simrold. We both have Legend of Zelda Link skins, and they are very, very similar. Hers has different eyes in the avatar than mine do. Mine does, but otherwise they're very, very similar. And it became a thing when the map reset. We were kind of laughing about it. But yeah, it's possible. Now, I haven't seen Sim on in quite some time, so...
Yeah, I can't say I have either.
Unless she's sneaking on whenever, nobody's looking, or at least I'm looking, then it's a possibility. But yeah, it still remains a mystery. And that's been about the extent of what I've been doing on the VBFS. Like, the last 4 episodes was just me more or less looking at these signs and then doing something random.
More of that. Yeah, we definitely need to do more of that.
Yeah. Let's see. I've also been playing a lot of Attack of the B Team. I've been having a lot of fun with that mod pack. I find that I do a lot of stuff off camera because I really enjoy it and I want to do a lot of stuff in the game, but I don't necessarily always have the ability to record when I'm playing it. And so as a result, I have all of this stuff set up. I have a auto spawner room, and I have, Tinker's Construct stuff set up, and I made a whole bunch of the top tier tools and all of this stuff, and I haven't shown any of it in video. But I've been having a lot of fun with that, and I'm hoping to get to record some more of that pretty soon. There should have been an episode went up yesterday on my channel, in Attack of the B Team, and hopefully there'll be some more that'll get recorded in the near future for that. I'm aiming to get to a space station in my next episode, so we'll see how well that goes.
What I want to see from your Attack of the B Team series, I really just want to see you trolling people with the morph mod.
I had a little bit of fun with that. One of my friends was on. He was working on his mountaintop base, and he was building his floor in a limestone. I had a bunch of limestone I wasn't using, so I was like, I'll bring it by. And so when I flew over there, I flew over as a ghast, just for the heck of it. and I just landed right in front of him as he's placing blocks. And he said he jumped quite a bit whenever I first showed up.
He didn't try to shoot you?
He did not try to shoot me. I did have I did have Raggedy Girl is her username, but she actually knocked me off of a ledge in the Nether. I was a zombie pigman at the time because I was mining out something and I wanted to be something fire resistant just in case. Mm-hmm. And she was shocked. You know, she didn't expect another player to be in the Nether, so she's like attacking me. and I'm like, hey, it's me. don't hit me anymore.
That's funny.
Yeah. That's the only thing about the morph mod. Well, there's actually a couple things about the morph mod. I always am now, in any kind of Minecraft, I'm hesitant to kill bats. Because I'm like, man, that could be somebody just visiting my my base. Every time it just like crosses my mind for a second. Because I almost killed Neon one time. I think it was like the first time I played and I didn't realize it. And then the other thing is that the morph mod almost seems too OP for the mod pack. Like, especially with advanced genetics in there, it kind of makes advanced genetics completely useless.
Yeah, there's not, like, I'm planning on getting into advanced genetics at some point, but there's not a whole lot that I would really need out of advanced genetics, because, I mean, being able to morph into a bat or whatever to fly around, you know, I don't need a flying gene from anything.
Yeah, you don't need, I mean, and being a bat, you can fit in the little 1x1 holes, it's so convenient.
Yeah.
And it made me not want to play vanilla Minecraft anymore. Yeah. It's like, I have to dig out a 2x1 hole for me to walk through? Come on, man.
Man, this is ridiculous. That's twice as much work. Yeah. But there's a couple of things in advanced genetics I think I could see myself getting into, because you can get the gene out of ocelots that scare creepers away.
Yeah.
And that seems like that would be useful. And apparently you can get like extra health out of an iron golem, so that might be something that I pursue. So.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that. And yeah, the next big step is trying to get a space station established, and I want to get an enhanced portal on the space station so that I can, you know, go back and forth.
Without having to mess with the stinking rocket shit. Because
without launching rockets all the time, yep.
That should be your number one goal, is to stop having anything to do with rocket ships.
SnoShoe speaks from experience.
Oh my gosh, man. Too many times I've been stuck on the moon.
Let's see. Oh, and then we were talking a little bit earlier about remastered HD video games. Final Fantasy X is one of those, and I've been playing a bunch of that lately. The kids really enjoy watching me play that, so that's, you know, like if we're having a lazy Saturday or something, I'll sit down and I'll play a few hours of that for their entertainment in mind. And you had been saying that, you know, you kind of have to play the original so that you could see the difference.
Right.
But it has been forever since I played Final Fantasy X, but almost as soon as the game started, I could see a difference in the graphics. I was actually really surprised that it was that noticeable, that I would recognize it after, you know, not really having the frame of reference in recent memory. But that is a really fun game. It is probably my favorite Final Fantasy game. It and 7 are pretty close in my mind, but 10 I think has the better storyline. Although Sephiroth in 7 is the better villain. You can't beat him for a villain. But in 10, I just like the overall story, and I love the combat system in 10. It's a departure from most of the Final Fantasy games.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you were the one who told me that 10, in your opinion, had like the best combat system.
I just really like, I mean, it's a very turn-based combat system, so you don't feel rushed to try and, you know, pick an attack before the other guys attack. You know, it's not active time-based. It's turn-based, and being able to see what the potential impact of your attacks is, I think, is pretty cool as well. I like being able to think strategically. It feels almost like, you know, chess-like in trying to decide which abilities to use when and which characters to swap in and swap out for different purposes. So that's one of the big appeals of that game for me. I also played a little bit of Starbound. That game is honestly starting to lose some of its appeal for me, because it feels very samey. You know,
very grindy.
Yeah, everything that I do, it's like, okay, you know, I get to a certain point and now I grind away at getting the materials to craft the next thing. And you know, it might be different if I used it as more of a creative outlet, because the game does provide that. There's, you know, all sorts of different things that you can do to reshape a world, you know, in your image or whatever. But Minecraft is already my creative outlet for that sort of thing. So it's difficult for me to want to spend a whole lot of time in a game for aesthetic purposes. when there is a progression to the game. I
Right.
want to progress through Starbound. Whereas Minecraft, I mean, you can progress through Minecraft in terms of the overall goal of get to the end, kill the dragon in like an hour.
Oh no, you cannot. It took me forever to find that stupid stronghold, man. Okay,
Well, there's that.
I was like, all right, I'll get this done in 2 sit-down sessions. Heck no.
That's true. I'm thinking of the Dragon Rush UHCs where the end portal's out in the open. It does.
Right.
It's a little bit more involved when you're playing it just natural.
That's
game
definitely
mode.
something I figured out with this little Minecraft world I'm doing, and not to mention the amount of ender eyes you have to get.
Yeah, grinding
Oh,
out
that's
the
a pain in
ender
the
eyes
butt.
takes forever.
The worst part is grinding out the ender eyes to find the stronghold
Yeah.
Right.
because they keep breaking and everything. Every time you see them fly up in the area, and then you're like, okay, fall, and then it breaks. You're like, no.
Well,
Rage quit.
I have a pretty decent strategy for that, but it's still a pain.
There's
Yeah.
actually programs you can use, but I'm doing it cheat free.
Yeah.
I never said I cheated with my strategies.
He wasn't implying.
Obviously, you can use a texture pack and look through it and everything,
Right.
but you can put in your seed number, and the location of your strongholds is based off the seed number.
Right. Yeah. There's a program Amidst that will do
Is
that.
what it is?
Yeah, that's one of them. There's other utilities out there, I think, as well. But Amidst is, I think, one of the more popular ones. 'Cause
I didn't know that. I
it'll show
actually
you
found
the
the
whole-
code and put it in Java.
Amidst shows you the whole biome map, and it shows you where villages would spawn and where the stronghold should be. And I think that's the extent of it. It doesn't tell you like abandoned mine shafts or things like that. But it's and it's also like this is where one is eligible to spawn, where the game will try to spawn one, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee that when it generates that it will actually put something there. Because I guess it depends if the terrain is not quite right for putting a
if
village
it's
in. It
suitable
might
and
not put
everything.
one. Yeah. But yeah, anyway. Finally, just to wrap up the games, I played some KSP recently. I want to try to I updated to the Asteroid Redirect mission version, which is 23.5, and I'm really looking forward to attempting one of those missions at some point. But I wanted to try and get some more science first, off camera. So it's like, I'll launch a bunch of missions to min this for science. And
For science.
For science! And unfortunately, okay, I overcomplicated it for my own entertainment. But I came up with a concept of essentially launching, if you've seen my expedition to Duna, the big orange tanks that I had that I mounted on the sides of my lander. I launched one of those, and then I launched a couple of little Minmus landers up that could dock to the sides of them, like cling to the sides like leeches,
Right.
and then fly the whole contraption over to Minmus, undock, land those guys in separate locations, do their science, fly back up, redock, and fly back, and then return to Kerbin with the science. The problem that I ran into is that apparently, if you're not controlling a vessel when it's re-entering Kerbin, it just crashes no matter what. So I had my landers, and I undocked them from this tug transport thing, and I activated the parachutes on both of the little lander cans as they were on their way down through the atmosphere. But I could only control one at a time once I undocked them. And,
So
and unfortunately, the other one, the parachute never actually opens, despite being activated.
Huh.
So I've missed out on a bunch of science that I spent time on.
So is it
I'm
a
gonna have to
feature or
retry.
a bug?
I feel like it's a bug because in a previous version, I think it was in 0.22, I launched a rescue mission to get a guy that was stuck in orbit of Mun, and I put him in a separate, like the hitchhiker container, and they had to decouple and become two separate things to survive the re-entry, because the parachutes weren't strong enough to bring the whole thing down as one unit. And both of them managed to touch down fine, so I don't know what changed that I lost my capsules this time, but anyway, it turns out I probably have enough science and stuff unlocked already in career mode that I could do an asteroid redirect from, the next time that I sit down to play, so I'll probably give that a shot next time I record.
All right, I'm gonna have to check it out. Every time you talk about it, it gets me one step closer to buying the game. I've been so close. I've been on the page before, and it's like $24, isn't it?
I don't know. I got it back when it was like 0.15 or something like that, maybe. And I think I paid I think I paid $15 for it then.
See, if it was lower, if it was like $10 or $15, I definitely would have it by now. But the $24 thing is always like, there's a threshold where it's like, okay, that means you're buying KSP over all these other games.
Right.
I'm like, I just don't know if I can do that.
Well, keep your eyes open for sales too, because I think KSP has, it goes on sale price relatively frequently.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But yeah, I highly recommend it. If you're into space science at all, it's a fascinating game, and it's funny. Have you guys heard of the webcomic XKCD?
Yeah.
Okay. There was
I only know of what you showed me.
Okay. Right, with the what ifs that we were doing on the way back from PAX. But his typical webcomic format, he put up a simple line graph that was a chart of knowledge of orbital mechanics versus time.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And it was like, it starts out, high school physics, it goes up a little bit, and then college, it's up a little bit, and then he's like, there's a section of time labeled actual job at NASA, where it goes up, and then it goes down for a little bit afterwards, and then there's a point that he points to that says started playing Kerbal Space Program, and then the line just like slopes up dramatically. He's learned more from that.
That's one of the reasons I really want to get it, because my dad actually worked at NASA, and I want him to start playing it and see if he can bring back any of his knowledge.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. I really get into it. It's definitely a niche game. It's not for everybody, but I think if you're into the science stuff and you're just into space travel on a realistic scale, then this is a fun. It's like The Sims for space, to a certain degree. So yeah, highly recommend it.
Okay, we're done with the game section.
We are done with the game section.
That may be the longest game section we've ever done.
Yeah.
I've never had so many games to talk about. I was so excited.
Yeah, it's your fault, Slash.
All right.
Now I know how you guys feel when I have a lot of games.
How does it feel, Drew? Just tell us.
Yeah, there you go. This was all revenge. It was an elaborate revenge plot.
We're gonna kill you. Sorry,
whoa.
I went a little far there. Sorry, I'm still reeling from Drew beating me in Abacavian. Now challenging me at Mirror's Edge.
Oh, man.
And we still have to do that arrow battle.
Oh yeah, the straight up. We tried that, didn't we?
Nope.
We didn't record it, but I thought we did it in Beef's Castle once.
No.
Oh.
Maybe you did it with someone else.
Maybe I did.
You cheated on me.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so on to the news.
All right, well, I'll lead this off, I guess. I don't know how many people out there are familiar with the DYN or DynDNS service. It's one of several providers out there that basically let you register a host name, and then you can have your home IP address, which might change because your ISP might give you a new IP every once in a while. You can have that host name direct to whatever IP address you have at home or wherever. And it's a free host name that you can use instead of trying to memorize an IP address. And it's something that I have used for quite a while from DYN, and they just recently announced they were discontinuing their free service. I think mid-May is when they're turning it off completely. And so if you're using DynDNS, you got to move on to something else. And I personally went to no IP, but there's a whole bunch of different options out there. I essentially just opened up my router, because my router from Verizon actually has a function in it where I can plug in my username and password for one of these DNS services, and it'll go out and update my IP address when it changes automatically. And so I just went into the list. I was like, okay, what else do you support? And no IP was there. And I was like, okay, we'll use that. So, but the writing's been on the wall.
DynDNS is definitely the most popular, right?
It's the first. I think it was the forerunner, because it was the first one I ever heard of, and then the other ones sort of started springing up afterwards. And it'll be interesting to see what the impact of them closing down the free service is, because I mean, they certainly weren't making any money off of people using it, and there was some infrastructure cost involved in maintaining it. So it wasn't entirely surprising that it eventually shut down. I'm honestly surprised it lasted as long as it did.
But in general, they were pretty much using it as ad space for their other, not ad space, but, they were turning people on to their other services, right?
Right. It was the sort of thing like, here's a taste, and then, oh, by the way, you can do these other cool things if you, pay a monthly fee or whatever.
And who knows, maybe this was their plan the whole time, was that we're going to do this for a while, not tell anybody, and then we'll make it paid once enough people kind of depend on it.
Right, and that could easily be the case, because for at least a year now, they had started doing a thing where they would send you an email once a month saying, you have to come log in, or we're going to assume that you're not using the service anymore and shut it off. Yeah, so like every month I'd have to click on a link to verify, yes, in fact, I'm still using this host name. And then finally they're like, hey, actually, you know what? We're going to turn it off anyway. So, I don't know. It's possible that now that, DynDNS users are going to these other services, maybe they will start overloading a little bit and their costs will go up and they'll have to start taking similar measures as well. So,
and nothing will be free anymore.
And nothing will be free. No, we will not have nice things.
No.
Yeah. So that's it for me. What do you have, Drew?
Okay. Well, on Monday evening, Red vs. Blue Season 12 started.
I'm shocked to hear that is still going on. Like, it seems like that is such an old series that's been going on.
I feel like I was
forever.
talking about that in 8th grade or something. How long, do you know, Drew, how long it's been going on?
It's been...
Here, you can talk about it. I'll look it up for you.
They just had their 10th anniversary, like a year or two ago.
The first episode was 2003, April 1st. So they just had their first, that's 11 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Oh, right, yeah, I should have known that, because, yeah, it was April 1st was their...
April Fool's Day.
Yeah. And they don't do April Fool's Day jokes, because otherwise no one will take them seriously when they actually put out all their, like, cool anniversary stuff.
Right.
Right.
Or maybe they're just going to do a huge one eventually.
Yeah, maybe.
It's been one decades-long setup.
So yeah, I actually, at the time of recording this, normally I wouldn't have had a chance to watch Red vs. Blue yet, but I just recently got a Rooster Teeth sponsorship. They announced that the price is going to be going up, but if you get it before, I'm trying to remember what the date is, very early May, if you got sponsorship before then, you would get to keep the current price of sponsorship. So, it's like, for me right now when I got it, it's like $10 for 6 months or something. And that just gives you, no ads, but there's also like a bunch of extra video content that only sponsors get to see. And I went through and watched a bunch of that earlier today, and that was very cool. So, I watched the new episode of Red vs. Blue. It wasn't as epic as I hoped, but this season definitely has potential.
Cool.
And then yesterday, which is actually, at the time of recording, is actually tomorrow, Lindsey Stirling's new...
Wait, what?
What? How does that work?
Because at the time of recording this, it's tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I interpreted that completely backwards.
Yeah, I thought he was saying, like, right now, yesterday, which is Wednesday's tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
How does this work? Okay.
Yes.
Sorry. Continue. Snow and I are up to speed now.
Okay. So...
Hang on, I'm making another Excel spreadsheet about this.
Lindsey Stirling's new album, Shatter Me, came out, and I had it pre-ordered, and so it's going to automatically download to my iTunes, and I'm probably going to be listening to it nonstop. Well, I can't listen to it during work, but I'm going to listen to it on the way to and on the way home from work, and then just like while I'm relaxing at home and stuff. So, very excited about that. It's been a while since she's really posted original content. She's done mostly covers, and really her original content is why I love her work so much. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I haven't actually heard this one yet. The latest post that she had put up on her channel, because I'm trying to remember the last one I listened to, but it wasn't from this album.
Right. She has, as of recording this, she has posted 2 of the songs are available to listen to before the album came out. One was just like a normal instrumental one, and that was awesome. But then she actually did one with that's the name of the album was Shatter Me. She did that song, and that one actually is the first Lindsey Stirling song that has a full vocal track as well. Like, she brought in Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them.
I've heard the name Lizzie Hale before.
Okay,
but that's about about as much as I can say about it.
They're like a rock band. I shouldn't say too much because I don't actually know. But yeah, so that was, I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about that, but it's a very good song, and yeah. Lindsey Stirling.
Cool. Yeah, I love her stuff. Yeah. my wife is a violinist, so she kind of got me interested in Lindsey Stirling, and yeah, it's funny because I mean she had gone on, what was it, America's Got Talent, I think was the one that she went on.
Yeah.
Yes, as you guys have been talking, I've been looking up who Lindsey Stirling is.
Yeah,
and was.
They told her, she was like, "Well, we don't really think that that your kind of act will really catch on." When she was on America's Got Talent, does sold out concerts and tours all over the world.
I went back though, and I watched her America's Got Talent video, and obviously she's gotten better. But I realized why they said that at the time. It's not actually, in my opinion, it's not that good live, because she does a lot of, in like the videos and stuff, she does a lot of dancing and stuff while she plays the violin.
And we don't like dancing.
And in the videos, it looks really cool. But when she does it live, like if you're moving that much while trying to play the violin, you're gonna miss a few notes. And
yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. It's a different. Plus, I think your comment about how obviously things have changed for her. She's improved since then. I think that's a big part of it too.
Yeah,
because it was. Yeah, it was like a talent show act that she was doing, back then.
Yeah.
And now, she's refined it and she has confidence and stuff. So yeah, I understand where they were coming from as well, but it's just funny to look at that and then look at where she is now and go, well, everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yep.
So a few podcasts ago, like 2 or 3 episodes ago, I issued a challenge to the listenership that if anybody out there had any, well, it's not a viewership. I guess they can stare at the splash screen for an hour, but
it just gave me this visualization of all these people on a ship listening to us talk. Hey, look, it's the listenership.
The SS headphone. Yeah, I issued a challenge out there regarding Star Trek The Next Generation trivia. And I see Drew has listed on the agenda Star Trek question for Slash. So apparently either he's come up with one or somebody has provided him one. And I'd like to hear it.
Yes. So this question was sent in by Sarah J. MCB.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say, me reading the question, because I wouldn't have known the answer, it seems like it doesn't seem very obvious to me, so I'll actually be kind of surprised if you get it, but you never know, it might be something that stood out. Whatever, I'll just go ahead and say it. So, what was the name of the original series Star Trek episode with the green slave girl?
Well, okay, first of all, I explicitly mentioned Next Generation trivia, but I have seen the original series, so I will make an attempt to tackle this. Let's see. The name of the original series episode that had the Orion slave girl.
Okay, so you at least seem to know what it's talking about. Like, I'm just like...
Yeah. That is one of the more iconic things from Star Trek. In fact, they included the green-skinned slave girls in the reboot movie as well. But in terms of the name of the episode... See, there were only 80 episodes in the original Star Trek.
The fact that you know that alone boggles my mind.
Yeah. I don't know if all 80 actually aired on TV originally, because the one of them was like the original pilot that they ended up incorporating into a 2-parter episode later on in the series, but it wasn't really like, it didn't stand on its own, I think, on TV. I think you could only get that on like the box VHS sets or whatever when those started coming out. But as far as the title of the episode, it is not coming to me. I do not know.
Would you?
I feel like I might recognize it when I hear it.
Would you like to know the answer?
Yeah.
The Menagerie.
Oh, that's the episode I was just talking about. The Menagerie is the episode that they turned the original pilot into a 2-parter later on, because the pilot episode was called The Cage, And then whenever they scrapped, they didn't use that pilot. NBC didn't want that pilot. They thought it made people think too much. So they wanted something with more action. So they filmed a new pilot with a different captain. That's where William Shatner got his start, because he wasn't in the first pilot. And they filmed the new pilot where no man has gone before. But later on, they wanted to use that footage, and so they made a two-parter called The Menagerie. But I don't remember there being the Orion slave girls in that. They wouldn't have had like a prominent part. I have no idea
what you're talking about at this point. It's so far over my head, I can't even see it anymore.
Yeah, that's interesting though. But yeah, that was what I was just talking about, was The Menagerie.
Okay.
So I almost answered it. I just didn't know that was the answer.
Well, and you gave me way more information about the original series than I ever knew.
Well, there
but
you go.
Still, you don't get any points.
That is my purpose in life, is to provide people with information they don't need.
That's why we have this podcast.
All right, moving on.
Okay, one other thing I wanted to mention. This was just like random. So on the way home from PAX, I believe it was Slash who actually said it. But we had a whole conversation about the song "Let It Go" from Frozen, and then it won all sorts of awards and stuff. And I had stated that I had never heard the song, and I believe it was Slash that said, "That is impossible. That song is everywhere."
It's really true. Don't know how you would have avoided hearing "Let It Go."
You must have heard it but not known it, because
that's what I said. I'm like, well, maybe I've heard it and just didn't realize that's what it was. I just saw the movie for the first time. Absolutely, I listened to the song. I enjoyed it. I've never heard that song before.
That I find amazing.
I still don't know where I would have heard it before without seeing the movie. Like, it's not like I looked up anything about it.
But you could just be walking down the street and now you hear somebody go, "Let it go." It's crazy. It's everywhere.
It is literally everywhere. I mean, frankly, I'm surprised my daughter didn't sing it while you were at the house before PAX, because she's like crazy about that movie.
I went to a birthday party yesterday. That was a Frozen birthday party, and it was just crazy. Like, every single kid there knew it. It was a 4-year-old's birthday party, so it wasn't like a 22nd birthday party for one of my peers. But actually, I did bring a Spider-Man doll to a Frozen birthday party, and it was the best present she got. So I won.
Congratulations.
Now, was that her opinion or your opinion that it was the best present?
That was her opinion.
Okay.
Her mom sent me a picture of her sleeping with it.
Aw.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So yeah,
I'm shocked, Drew, because like every YouTube channel I don't think Lindsey Stirling did a cover of it.
No. So
maybe that's how you managed to miss out. But like every other music like related YouTube channel seems to have a cover of "Let It Go" on it. Like the Piano Guys did it.
They did?
I don't know. Yeah, they did. Well, you know what? They did it. Their version of it though was intermixed with "Winter" by Vivaldi. They like switch back and forth there. If the Piano Guys
put out a video, I'd probably watch it. But especially if it didn't have the singing, then okay.
No, it wouldn't have had the singing. So maybe that's why you wouldn't have recognized it off the melody.
Okay,
but it's
maybe
it's the one
you've got some kind of like color blindness where you can see every other color except for red, but you can hear every other song except for this song.
he's "Let It Go" blind, or he's "Let It Go" deaf.
Yes, yeah. He's Frozen deaf.
Well, except now I know it, and I actually currently have it stuck in my head. But I mean, probably because we've been talking about it. But
we all will for the rest of the night.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Yep.
And you will too, good listener on the listenership.
Yes,
listenership's gonna be rocking tonight.
So, Snow, did you have something you wanted to talk about?
Nope. I just wanted to give you an awkward answer to an awkward lead-in.
Okay, how about Snow? You had a question for us. What is it?
Oh yeah, well actually I was looking on r/games to figure out good topics for this podcast, and I saw that somebody had brought up the topic of Minecraft kind of look-alike games, and wondering what everybody thought about them. Are they tired? Now, I'll pull it up right here. They give a list of a lot of them that have been on Steam Early Access recently, such as Terraria, Starbound, Rust, Space Engineers, and a couple other he's forgetting. It's wondering basically what we feel about these. Is this genre tired? And it kind of goes in with what you were saying earlier, Slash, that Minecraft kind of fills the need of that creative outlet that all these games provide.
Right.
And I haven't played Space Engineers. I really want to. I don't know if Rust is really... Rust is kind of in the crafting sense in that genre.
I don't really agree. I agree that Rust might have some elements like with the crafting or whatever, but Rust is a totally different game. I would put it more along the lines of something like DayZ.
Right, but it's still it's probably a combination of DayZ and Minecraft, honestly. But it's drawing some kind of, I don't know, some kind of inspiration from Minecraft that you can obviously tell. There's elements of Minecraft in all of these different games. And it's kind of brought up this discussion of, is this tired? Are people getting tired of it? Because obviously it's tough to say, but people are getting tired of Minecraft. So it kind of goes to serve, are people getting tired of these kind of elements in these games also?
I don't know. Like, I don't necessarily see... I don't know if I agree with you that people in general are getting tired of Minecraft. I think Minecraft is still as popular as it ever has been. I think... it comes and goes. There's interest goes up and down in waves, and right now I think we're more in a lull.
There's also a lot of the people that we talk to have been playing Minecraft for a really long time. There are plenty of people, especially now that it just came to the PlayStation 4 and stuff like that. There are a lot of people who are just experiencing Minecraft for the first time, and they're exactly like we were when we first started playing. They're in love with the game, and they just want to play it nonstop. And so, while there are people who have been around it for a while that might be getting tired, there are definitely plenty of new people.
Well, and that's actually a really good point, I think, because all of the people that we've associated with for most likely over a year. And so all of these people have been playing the same game for over a year. So maybe that is my perspective, that the people that I see are getting tired of the game. Whereas there may be a lot of new people coming to the game, which is that's a good point.
Yeah, I'm getting the impression that at least in our local area, so to speak, I feel like interest is starting to pick back up a little bit. The problem that often happens in Minecraft, just talking vanilla Minecraft, is that you tend to burn really hard for a while when you first get in, and you have an idea. It's like, oh, I'm going to do this new thing, this new build. I've never done this before. Let's do this new thing. And then you usually get, at least over halfway through, I would say on average. And then you start burning out on it a little bit.
Most likely because it doesn't end up like you thought it would in your head.
Right, or it's at least there's more work than you thought, or you've gotten to a part that's very grindy. Like right now, with my Biomes project, I have to finish putting glass domes on 3 of these things, right? That's just placing glass blocks, like stacks and stacks of glass blocks, right? So it's not something
there's some kind of... It's almost like a percentage of saturation point. No matter how big the project is, about 75% of the way through it, you get tired of it.
Exactly. So at some point you need to sort of rejuvenate yourself by doing other things, and then maybe you come back to it and you're like, oh, I can do this now because I'm excited about this project again. I want to see it get done, kind of thing.
Yeah, and you see Etho do that a lot in his LP.
Yeah.
He'll consistently, he'll do a project for an episode, and then he'll go 20 episodes without even talking about it again.
Yeah, exactly. And then maybe he'll come back to it, eventually. Like Wilson was one of those things,
Yeah, Wilson will never be finished completely.
But I mean, on the topic of clones of Minecraft, I mean, the first things that come to mind, like the games that you were mentioning, sort of kind of invoke Minecraft, but when I think of clones of Minecraft, I think of like Cube World was one of those.
Right.
Where it was like, okay, here's something where it seemed to me somebody looked at Minecraft and said, that's a really cool concept for a game, but I would like to do this with it. I would like to do something different. I like to procedurally generate stuff, but like in the case of Cube World, like I want to have, all sorts of, I want to have an RPG kind of element to it. With,
right, and basically that I want to make money off of it.
Exactly.
Because you can make mods for Minecraft, but in general, you're not going to make a whole lot of money off of it.
But that's exactly where I was heading, too, is that I think the problem with these Minecraft clones is that Mojang has been very supportive of the modding community and, in fact, are working towards getting the game set up to officially support mods through an API as opposed to actually hacking the client, which is essentially how they work now. And so you end up with that situation where, you could play Cube World, right? Or you could take Minecraft, which you already own, and you could install, like, map generation mod that will generate a different set of terrain than is normally in vanilla. You can install stuff that it creates these different dungeons and whatever, and that's a lot of the inspiration between these mod packs, I mean, Minecraft has this crack pack thing that they've come up with, which is their, it was going to be in Feed the Beast, but they had to move it to a different launcher, and then there's Attack of the B Team, which is part of the Technic family of mod packs. So, all of this stuff, you can extend the base Minecraft game to do all sorts of different niche things.
Right, just basically use this as an engine.
Yeah, exactly. Like Terra Firma Craft was a big one for a while, where it was.
I want to get back into that. That is awesome. Yeah. That's one of my favorite mod packs or mods.
So I mean, and it's one that I had wanted to look into myself, but just never really got into. But that's another thing. It's like, somebody might have the idea, let's come up with a clone for Minecraft, but make the survival element more realistic. Well, guess what? There's a mod for that. It's already there. You can do that in Minecraft with the appropriate mod. So I think I to sort of sum it up, I think if you want to try to come up with your own spin on Minecraft, that's fine for a start, but you really gotta spin it far enough in your brainstorming that it becomes distinct. Because I liked Starbound. Like I said, it's gotten kind of grindy, but one of the things that immediately I was like, was there's the whole crafting, mechanic to it. It's like, I don't know necessarily that I need another game where I have to craft things out of other things. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with, obtaining these things in different ways.
Which is what a lot of these games that I just mentioned, that's one of the main elements they take from Minecraft.
Yeah.
For the most part, I feel like Minecraft satisfies my needs for a lot of that stuff, and I really am not interested in playing most of those. Rust is something I actually really want to get into. I'm very much considering buying it. A big part of it is because Paws and Old Man Willikers have their own server that they play on, and watching their Rust Tuna Bandits series, and especially when they interact with the people on their server, it's just so hilarious. And I'm like, it's like, I mean, it might be one of those experiences where it was with Dwarves vs. Zombies when Rob used to stream it and host it himself, when it was probably more entertaining to watch than actually be there. But I would like to try getting in on that action. It looks fun.
Very cool. All right, well, we will wrap it up with questions. We have one question this week. SnoShoe,
Yay.
Take it away.
It's my turn. I get to do something productive. Hey, guys. This is from Bailey. This is Bailey from the AlphaCraft server.
Yep. I presume.
Whatever. He says, if you could swap any two characters from any game, who would you swap and why would you swap them? Interesting question.
Yeah, I'm going to have to think on this one.
Well, my initial... Yeah.
I've got mine.
You have yours now?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I want to swap one of the villagers from Animal Crossing with one of the assassins from Assassin's Creed. Because I think that would be awesome.
This is evoking
in both situations.
This is evoking those Super Smash Brothers Brawl images from the last time.
I think it'd be awesome to see the villager running around assassinating people, and I think it'd be awesome to see the assassin running around in the Animal Crossing world assassinating people as well.
I concur. I think that would be very amusing. As for me, I'm going to go for a classic approach. I think I would like to see a swap between Mario and Link. Because I think it would be really funny to see Link have to... Like, imagine Ocarina of Time Link in Super Mario 64.
Just like slashing the Goombas with swords.
Exactly, doing like spin moves and stuff and casting spells on them or whatever.
That's funny because it's Zelda and Mario. Zelda is so much more of an aggressive game than Mario is. Mario is so lighthearted.
Yeah.
Right.
That'd be pretty funny.
I mean, like, I just see this mashup where you have, like Ganondorf is, rears up on his horse, lightning strikes in the background, and then it cuts over to the reaction from the hero, and it's this big cartoony, marshmallow Mario sitting.
He jumps down the tube.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think that just for the sheer entertainment value of that, swapping of the worlds, I think I'd have to go with Mario and Link.
Very good. Drew?
I'm still thinking.
Oh, come on. You've had long enough, man.
Well, one, I'm trying to listen to what you guys are saying as well.
Well, there's your first mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I can always listen back to the podcast later. He's too busy on
the
listenership. I guess something that would be interesting to see is switching Master Chief and Faith from Mirror's Edge.
That would be disastrous.
Because
I'd love to see Master Chief trying to do the parkour and that get up.
Well, see, what I was thinking was Master Chief, like in Mirror's Edge, they run along the rooftops because that's what they do. Master Chief could just go along the ground and shoot all the cops.
That's true.
And then Faith, some of the environments in the Halo games are so awesome, and I wish it wasn't as linear and you could like climb over some of those walls and explore more. And so
that's what people spent hours and hours trying to do playing Halo. Was it Halo 3 online? Well, I remember I spent hours trying to figure out how to get out of Zanzibar.
Why would
No, am I the only one?
Apparently.
I mean,
on the online maps, you just run around and like sometimes you'd be on a server where it's you and one other person and you just try to stand on top of each other. Can you stand on top of each other in Halo?
Yeah.
My memory's fading.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to stand on top of each other and like figure out different random combinations.
Well, figure
out how to get places you couldn't get.
In Halo 2, there were a lot of areas where if you hit it just right, you could do a super jump and you could like go really high in the air and get on rooftops that you couldn't normally get to. In Halo Reach, they actually, when they added the jetpack, they also added these out of bounds things where like if you got somewhere you weren't supposed to go, it would come up. It's like you have this much time to return to the map.
Boo, that sucks.
But there were certain maps where there was like you could get on like the very corner and like your feet would almost like if you look down at your feet, you'd practically be standing off the ledge.
See, that's one of my favorite parts of those old games. Like even Splinter Cell, what was it? Pandora Tomorrow, maybe? I played online forever. And there were tons of glitches in it, and that was one of the most awesome things. I don't know, I love glitchy games sometimes.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess Mirror's Edge, or Faith and Master Chief would be interesting to see.
Yeah, I like that.
That was a very good question, Bailey. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of Dem Guys Podcast. As always, thank you guys for listening, for submitting your questions.
Don't get off that listenership.
Indeed, stay aboard. We don't have any life rafts, so you have to go down with the ship anyway.
Yeah, don't let it go.
Don't let it go. Yikes. And with that,
see you next time.
Bye.